This was the one thing I noticed I was never taught during my computer science studies, despite using it almost every day as a software engineer. If you want to be a software engineer yourself, please make sure you understand the basic concepts of Git, which we're about to cover in this video. Let's start with the concept of source control. Source control, also known as version control, is the magic behind managing and tracking your code's evolution. It provides a central repository in the cloud for developers to store, access, update, and delete their code. Now, let's explore how Git is typically used for source control. While Git is not the only source control platform, it is the most commonly used in a professional environment. And just between you and me, I've noticed other teams who don't use Git typically migrate to it anyway, as other platforms can be painful to use and understand. So, understanding the main concepts of Git will give you an edge, especially if you're serious about landing a job as a software engineer. To use Git, a repository is established in the cloud to house your code. Developers access this repository through individual accounts. The repository is organised into branches, each representing different stages of the system you're building. They are: main or master branch represents a fully functional system without defects. This code is typically live in a production environment. If your project is just starting, you normally commit here until you have a working system with basic functionality. Release or test branch represents a production candidate. In this branch, you'll find features and non-critical fixes for client testing. Once approved by the client, this branch is merged into main. Develop branch represents code under development. This branch is typically deployed to a production-like environment where developers can test their code. The team must agree it's stable before merging this branch into the release branch for client testing. When first starting out with any new repository, you will need to perform what's called a checkout. A checkout is when you bring down a specific branch from your repository to your local computer. If you check out the 3 main branches, you will be able to perform testing and branching locally. This is what you typically do before you start a task. It basically means creating an isolated branch from the parent branch. For example, if you are developing a new feature for a system, you would create a feature branch off the develop branch. The code in your feature branch would be the same as the develop branch until you make changes. The other type of branching you may need to do other than feature branching is hotfix branching. A hotfix is usually required when a critical issue that needs fixing is present in a production system. A hotfix branch comes off the main branch. Staging in Git is like preparing your changes for upload. When you stage a file, you're signalling your intent to include it in the remote repository. You can stage multiple files and even select changes within the file to stage. However, only stage files will be part of the next commit, which is what gets sent to the repository. Staging doesn't mean immediate commitment. It's all about readiness for the next commit. When you commit in Git, you're essentially saving a snapshot of your changes to your local branch. It's like confirming that the code you've written is in its final stage and works as expected. It's important to note that committing doesn't immediately push your changes to the remote repository. It's all about encapsulating your work on your local machine before deciding to share it with the remote repository. When performing a commit, you will be required to enter a commit message. While you won't be forced to enter anything specific, please make sure the commit message clarifies what the code is for and why it's there. As a rule of thumb, the commit message should be understood by everyone in your team, so don't make it too technical. This commit message will be recorded against your user account. This will allow other developers to reach out to you if they have questions about your code in future. You can also use it to seek help from other developers. You can think of a commit message as an audit log of changes. Before you push your branch to the repository, it's best practice to ensure that your feature or hotfix branch contains any updates from other developers who may have merged into your parent branch before you did, such as develop or master. To check, you should do what's called a fetch, which basically checks to see if there are any changes against the parent branch. From there, you will pull down those changes from the cloud onto your local machine. Then merge the parent branch into your feature or hotfix branch. You may be able to do a rebase instead, but that's somewhat advanced for beginners, so let's stick with merging. Merging is the process of combining one branch into another, like develop into a feature branch. During the merging process, you will be warned if your code conflicts with the code you are trying to merge with. Code will conflict if the changes you pulled down modify the same area of code you are trying to modify. This is normally fixed by updating the code yourself or seeking help from the developer responsible for your conflict. Once you have committed your changes, merged in the latest updates from the parent branch, resolved any conflicts, and tested your code still works, you are ready to push. When you push your branch, it will appear in the repository for other developers to see and check out. If using a web-based hosting platform such as GitLab or Bitbucket, typically used to manage Git repositories, your company administrator may place a requirement on specific branches to prevent you from merging anything directly into develop, release, or production without a merge request. A merge request, also known as a pull request, is essentially a code review performed by other developers on your team. Once approved by the required number of developers, you will be allowed to merge your code into the parent branch. The branch lifecycle ends for a feature or hotfix branch when they are merged into their parent branch, such as main, release, or develop. And that was the main concepts of Git for beginners. While there are other concepts we could cover, this is all you really need to know to get started. I hope you managed to learn something. If you did, feel free to give the video a like or simply let me know in the comments below. I plan on creating a tutorial video that will cover creating your own repository and how to perform each concept we covered in this video with GitHub. So if that's something that you'd like to learn with me, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Until then, this is Micro, logging out.